But we're going to come down here to the Royalties module, and when we do that, another little menu pops out, and we see that we have recipients who receive payments. Sometimes folks call them payees. And then the most important piece is the contract maintenance right here. Then there's queries we can do, transaction processing, statement generation, etc. Let me talk briefly about transaction processing. There's also transactions that you can enter, such as advances, any other reason for giving them additional funds, and also create the reason for deductions or reductions from the statement itself. Maybe there's corrections or editing functions or any number of things that you guys agree to in the contract that is part of recovering your costs in the process of publishing the product, typically done in publishing. So let's just go up here and start this with one last comment, and that is the system is also what we call parameter driven. And there is a parameter maintenance screen. We'll click that one, and up comes the business rule creation and update screen, and down here towards the bottom is one called royalty parameters. Now, some people call them codes, business rules, parameters, whatever you want to call them, but they actually tell the system how you personally want to run your business as it relates to royalties. Here's an example. We have certain categories of royalties, and these are just examples. These are not what you have to use. You can call them anything you want. You can have as many or as few as you wish. Example is, obviously your contracts say things like domestic royalties are paid at 1%. It may have a sliding scale. It may have a deep discount component. You might have foreign royalties are paid at a different scale or different rate, and maybe Canadian royalties are paid differently. Royalties to authors may or may not be paid. You might have a category called book clubs or Costco or Walmart or something of that sort. So you can have all kinds of categories. The idea is that each line of every sale that they've sold has some characteristic of where it went and what the channel of that sale was, which derives this royalty category. If I were to bring up, for instance, domestic sales and the royalty statement description that I want it to see is, let's say, DOM. I'm going to update that and get out of here. Now I'm going to just bypass the rest of these parameters just for a minute and go back now to the menu and see where we can connect some of this stuff and make. So here is the royalty contract. The presumption is that we have a product already installed in the system. The presumption is that we have authors or recipients already entered into the system. We don't have to know the product code. We don't have to know the ISBN number, but we store it like that perhaps. So I'm going to type in something like, do your giving while you are living. And I'm going to type in living, giving. Oops, that's backwards, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So see what happened?
Yeah.
Awesome. It actually goes out and gets the product ID, which in this case has been set up to be an ISBN number. We can actually find a product in the lookup function by any combination of words in the title, the ISBN, part of the ISBN, the 10-digit ISBN, the author name, the author code, the media type, the binding type, all kinds of stuff. So you see this button over here called Product Master, and it's going to bring up a Product Master screen, and all of its lovely glory. Look at all these tabs.
Okay.
Things about the Product Master is the pricing. There's your $14.95 price.
Okay.
Another thing about the Product Master is here's your Eddie Fraser. He's actually an author.
Right.
Now, if for some reason we had two authors, we can just put two authors in. Let's say this author that wasn't an author, maybe they were just an illustrator.
Right.
But we want to pay them royalties too.
That's nice. That's wonderful.
Okay, so you can have as many payees as you wish to have for a single product. They each stand alone in the system, so their percentages of calculation can be unique.
Yes.
They don't have to share the same percentage, so the illustrator's getting X and the author's getting X times 2. Most of this other stuff doesn't matter when it comes to just dealing with royalties, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but one of the things that we do is all kinds of good stuff here when you run your business using iPUB. But at any rate, here's the royalty tab, and the first thing we want to say to this product is, yes, we want to pay royalties. We can say, no, we don't want to pay royalties. We can say yes only through a certain date and then enter the cancel date. We can also say that this royalty always receives a specific royalty category and it never varies.
Okay.
In other words, this is the way we override the royalty category. We can override it at the product master level. Or we can do it a whole bunch of different ways, which is a little complicated, but let me just say, the idea of the whole system is to automatically assign the royalty category to each line item as it gets imported so that the calculations are accurate and end up in the right category. Now, when you do POD, print on demand, we can indicate that this book is going to be based on a hardback print on demand function or a paperback, if needed. And we can go back down here and say for, you see this A thing, for A, the cover cost for paperback is $1.80, and the per page cost is $250, and there is no distribution cost. So based on a characteristic over here called page count, 180 pages, we can actually compute the cost of this broom.
Nice.
Okay, so that you can recognize in your contracts as you go forward, you can say, well, you know, if we print this book on demand, there's a cost to us that's usually higher than if we printed 10,000 of them at once.
Right.
And we're going to take that cost and subtract it from the net extended amount before we calculate your royalty. Have a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to do that. That's just a choice you can make. Okay?
Okay.
You can also say that there's a cost of distribution involved. Maybe it's a maybe it's 50 cents per book that they're jerking you around about at Ingram. I have no idea. And so it's just another cost that can be added to this cost feature. So I'm going to clear out of here. I can update this and leave it like that.
That's nice.
Now, if you had multiple recipients or authors, you would see them all listed here, and you can pick the one you want. Now, what we also can do, because there are problems in royalties related to people who have authors who have passed away or trusts that are developed, we can also add an optional mail to. We can mail it to somebody else. Let's mail it to that person.
Yes.
If we don't know that person, we can just type in, you know, that person's name, and it will go out and find that person. And since that person's name, that's the only name in the whole customer master that had those two words in it, it just brought it up for you.
Nice.
Okay. Now, if you have a contract number, a free-form field, put it right there. No sweat. If you have a contract that expires, you can put the date there, and after this date, it won't, let's say the date is 01/01/2015. So if it expires on that, the contract is now expired and it will no longer calculate royalties or anything of that sort. That's if you need to do that. You can also check box, do not print the statement for this contract. Maybe you can't find them, so we'll do the calculations, keep track of it, and bypass the printing of statements.
Okay.
We can put in a brief description of the contract. We can also, and this is all free form here, it doesn't matter what it says there, if anything. We can also put in a title that you want to appear on the statement itself, different than the title in the product master. And, you know, some people need that because they have a limited field, or they don't want to put all of those words. We have some customers with titles that are 240 characters long.
Right.
Well, we